It's time for another episode of Raising Courageous Leaders by Mr. Bonke Shipalana. That's my dad.
There will be time when God speaks to you, time when God asks you to do something that does not make sense to the world, does not make sense to people that you love, does not make sense to people that you work with, does not make sense to your own plans. But you must boldly say that the reason I'm doing this, it's the Holy Spirit. Your business plan does not make sense. It's the Holy Spirit. Things are not going well. It's the Holy Spirit. For me, there were times when I had to look at my life and make decisions that I could not justify with my qualification. I could not justify with my network. I could not justify with my finances. But I had to boldly say that what I'm doing is based on the instruction from the Holy Spirit. I had my own businesses at varsity. I sold all of them at the age of 20. Said I'm going to work for 10 years. Worked for 3 companies at 30. It was time for me to retire and go back to businesses. At that time, I just got married. And then 2 months later, my wife says she's pregnant. I'm like, really? I was struggling to sell my old house. Just bought a new house. My finances were not yet strong enough for me to go on my own. But I had made a deal with God, that God, at 30, I'm going to go into business. And I had to resign. I was a sales C. I was a marketing manager. My career path was open. And when my boss asked me, Bonke, why are you resigning? How much cash do you have? I said, I don't have enough cash. You know, us Dakis, when we get married, we use all our savings. So out of cash. So I'm like, I'm finished. So why are you resigning? I'm like, it's the Holy Spirit. It's a plan that I have with God. And in my life, I have learned that if it's God's will, it's God's bill. It's not for me to worry. My role and responsibilities are to act, not to worry about how things are going to be. When I was young, my mom used to send me to town to go and pay accounts or buy stuff. My role was to be ready and go. Where the money was coming from was my mom's problem, not my problem. And the same applies when God instructs us. When the Holy Spirit guides you, your role is to be obedient, be a servant. The how is His responsibility.
Stop waiting for someone to rescue you.
You must have patience and engage in consistent action.
Find the inspiration within yourself.
Patience
to rise above and be your own hero. Join Bonke Shipalana on The Power Within